Well, we're jump-starting your week at the International Museum of Surgical Science.
It is North America's only museum dedicated to the art, history, and science of surgery and related fields. Jackie Kostek is live from that museum in the Gold Coast this morning. Hey, Jackie, I can honestly say I have never been here either.
Dana, Audrey, that is part of why we're here, because this museum's actually been around since 1954, but it still sort of flies under the radar, but it has so many amazing things from medical history that you might want to come check out. It's also housed in this amazing old building right on North Lakeshore Drive. I have to show you him first. This is Asclepius, which is what I'd like to do right now, go back to Asclepius, but he is the Greek god of medicine from 1200s, and you enter this room, and this is the Hall of Immortals. I'm here with Michelle Renard this morning, who is the director of the museum operations. Good morning to you, Michelle.
Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you so much for having us. First, just describe to us the building that this museum is housed in, because it's so beautiful.
So the museum, it's located in this historic mansion that was built in 1917 for Eleanor Robinson Countess.
Okay.
She was an heiress of the Diamond Match Company, so if you think of matchbooks,
yes,
we call it the mansion that was built on matchsticks.
Okay, lovely, lovely. And how did the Museum of Surgical Science end up being in this home?
So the International College of Surgeons and Max Thorick are the ones who founded the museum. They were already headquartered next door in the building at 1516 North Lakeshore Drive. So this building came up for sale in the mid-1940s, and at that time, Max Thorick knew right away that he needed to purchase the building with the sole purpose to turn it into the Hall of Fame of Surgery.
I love it. And this is the Hall of Immortals. So when you take a look around, you're seeing all of these different statues. Who are some of the people that we're looking at, and why did they end up in this Hall of Immortals?
So the Hall of Immortals, it's 12 stone statues depicting important figures throughout medical history. It starts with Asclepius, the Greek god of medicine, in the hallway, and it goes chronologically through time, ending with Marie Curie.
Lovely.
So some of the important figures invented anesthesia for modern medicine, antisepsis for clean surgeries, and also the understanding of human anatomy.
Lovely. All things that we can be grateful for sure. That is Marie Curie that you're taking a look at right now. We're taking a walk through now. This is a beautiful library that is sort of paying homage to the original owners of the home, right?
Yeah, this room here is the most original room from when this was a home, a residence. It has original walnut paneling wood. Many of the rooms of the home were transformed into museum exhibits. They bricked over windows and they painted over a lot of the wood.
Lovely. And last but not least, we're going to show you one more item before we let you go. And this is one item that a lot of people come to the museum to see. This is an iron lung, right, from the 1940s, 50s?
Yeah, so iron lungs, you don't see them anymore. So when someone comes to the museum, this is a really unique item to see. This was given to the museum from the University of Chicago. They had an iron lung ward that was filled with mostly children because the polio virus affected mostly children.
Yes.
And so when the polio vaccine eradicated polio in the United States, there was no longer a need for iron lungs. And so they disappeared from medicine.
Michelle, thank you so much for your time this morning. So many fascinating things that we're going to take a look. They also take a look at throughout the morning. They also have a really interesting new exhibit called the Buñuel exhibit, featuring a filmmaker from Spain who is actually friends with Salvador Dali. So we're going to get into that a little bit later in the morning, but this is the Museum of Surgical Science in Gold Coast. Ladies, back to you.
Okay, Jackie, thanks so much.
Well, we are jump-starting your week at the International Museum of Surgical Science. Not sure if you knew about it, but it's North America's only museum dedicated to the art, history, and science of surgery and related fields in medicine, and it's right here in Chicago. Our Jackie Kostek is live from the museum this morning. Jackie, I'm so interested to learn, how they're bringing this in the museum setting.
Audrina, good morning to you. Yeah, the museum's actually been around since 1954, so it's had quite a history here in the city of Chicago, but we're trying to bring that history to you because I think a lot of folks don't know that it even exists, which is sort of a shame, and that's why we're here this morning to show you some of the cool things that you can check out if you do pay the museum a visit. This is the Hall of Murals. So we showed you the Hall of Immortals earlier this morning. This is all of the murals that were created by one man, painted by one man, to sort of show the medical history over the course of time. So I'm here with Michelle Renard this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, so Michelle, we showed off the early amputation painting a little bit earlier. What is happening in this painting?
So early amputation, one of the 12 murals painted for the museum, shows an amputation that was occurring prior to the implements of anesthesia or antisepsis. And so here we have a soldier that's a patient that's in a lot of pain, getting a leg amputated. He has to be held down. The surgeons are not in regular surgeon medical gowns that we think of today. So there's a lot of differences here that actually isn't really that long ago.
Yes, right. Let's take a walk inside the actual Hall of Murals. Those are sort of the important murals that are outside the room, but it is a stunning room. Why do you think it's so important for the paintings to exist to kind of show the history of these medical milestones?
So the paintings were commissioned to show a lot of these stories, to tell the story of the history of medicine and important advancements through time. So for example, we have this mural here. It's of Semmelweis, and Semmelweis was an early physician that taught us to wash our hands. So he experimented through teaching his students that were going from the morgue straight to the maternity ward. And the patients were dying in high numbers. So he thought maybe they should wash their hands in a carbolic acid from going to the morgue to the maternity ward. And he proved that we should wash our hands in between surgeries. No one in the medical community believed him. And they said, they brushed off his theories for germ theory. They said, gentlemen's hands are already clean. I don't need to wash my hands.
Wow.
So
but it was after he died that it then became something that people believed in, did, and that really helped. Michelle, thank you so much for your time this morning. We do want to point out that the Museum of Surgical Science is actually having a big party this Saturday where they're going to have a famous jazz musician, and they're going to have people dressing up in sort of old style clothing too. We're going to tell you a little bit more about that event coming up in the next couple of hours. But Audrina, back to you.
All right, Jackie, thank you so much. We'll see you a little bit later this morning.
And now it's time to check in with Jackie at the International Museum of Surgical Science, which is so completely not fall foliage, right, Jackie?
Dana, we've been talking about polar opposite things all morning, or maybe not polar opposite, but just very random and different and unique. But yes, we are spending our morning at the Museum of Surgical Science. This really is a hidden gem in the city of Chicago. I didn't even know it existed, but now I'm learning all about it. They have permanent exhibits that we've been showing off the last couple of hours, but now we've made our way into sort of a tease for a rotating exhibit that is here until mid-February. I'm here with the co-curator of the Buñuel Master of Dreams exhibit, Andy Soma. Andy, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, let's talk about this filmmaker, originally from Spain, Buñuel, Luis Buñuel. Who is he? What should people know about him?
They should know that he's one of the most important filmmakers of the 20th century. We're here with a portrait of Buñuel that was...
Bless you, Dave. Yes.
that was done by his friend Salvador Dali. This is not the actual portrait, it's a reproduction, and it's a detail. Buñuel and Dali were friends because they went to school together in Madrid, and they were both at the Residencia de Estudiantes, also with Garcia Lorca, the poet. And when Buñuel moved to Paris in 1925, Dali and he ended up working on a film together. They wrote it. It was called Un Chien Andalou, an Andalusian dog, and it's probably one of his most famous films. It was his first film, and kind of one of the surrealist, one of the most important early surrealist films. Buñuel was a surrealist and aligned with the surrealist movement. Later, they threw him out. Surrealism was almost like a religion at a certain point. André Breton was kind of like the Pope. If he didn't like you or something you did, he would excommunicate you.
Ooh, okay. We don't necessarily want that.
And he was, Buñuel did get in trouble with the group at some point.
Gotcha. Partly because in one of his films, wasn't he the first to show, I'm not sure anybody else has done this since, but he was the first to show an eye being
the most
sliced in
famous
half?
scene in Un Chien Andalou is a scene where an eyeball is sliced by a razor.
Oof.
And it was a calf's eye. It was dead, of course.
Yes.
But it followed a scene with the moon being sliced by a cloud. So, and Dali and Buñuel created this film out of their dreams. They recounted their dreams to each other, and the film really is a kind of dream journal in a way.
Andy, thank you so much for your time. Like I mentioned, this was sort of a tease to the Buñuel exhibit. You've got books all over this library that were sort of what Buñuel based some of his films on, and then awards in the corner as well. But coming up next hour, we're going to be heading up to the 4th floor of this museum, and that's where the entire exhibit is. We'll see you right after the break.
Well, for today's Jumpstart, we are at the International Museum of Surgical Science.
Yeah, it's North America's only museum dedicated to the art, history, and the science of surgery. Jackie Kostek joining us live from the museum in Chicago's Gold Coast neighborhood, and I imagine that you're learning quite a bit today, Jackie.
Dana, Audrina, I am learning a lot. I spent the first couple of hours down on the first couple of floors seeing the permanent exhibits of the museum, which started in 1954, but now we've moved up to the 4th floor, and this is home to an exhibit over the next several months. It started just last month, and it runs through mid-February, February 22nd, and this is Luis Buñuel, Master of Dreams. So I'm here with Andy Soma, who is the co-curator of this exhibit. Good morning to you, Andy.
Morning.
Okay, who is Luis Buñuel, and why is it called Master of Dreams?
Well, Luis Buñuel was one of the most important filmmakers of the mid to late 20th century. Spanish, but he worked in Mexico. A lot of these posters are from his Mexican period. He also worked in Spain and France. He lived in the United States for a period of time. He lived in Hollywood, worked a bit in Hollywood. Also lived in New York and worked at the Museum of Modern Art for a period of time.
Why were dreams so important to him, and how did they factor in so prevalently in his work?
Dreams were important because they connect to the unconscious, and the Surrealist movement was really concerned with the unconscious, with the irrationality, breaking kind of normal vision. And Buñuel loved to dream. It was one of his favorite things to do, was to sleep and hopefully have a dream come to him.
Yes.
So dreams were very important, and so many of his films include dream sequences.
Gotcha. Let's take a little bit of a walk so we can show off some of the other spaces in the exhibit. We're moving into this space here, which actually has the work of a lot of Chicago artists, as well as artists from all over the country, or all over the world, really. Tell me a little bit about what you wanted to create in this space.
Well, we wanted to have maybe some contemporary artists who worked with the idea of collage. And collage is important because it's a cutting up of elements and then a refiguring them in a way that might be interesting or odd or beautiful or ugly. Or, so we have artists from Chicago, Mary Lou Zelazny. We have an artist from LA named Dan Winninger. We have Tom Palazzolo here, a documentary filmmaker who famously did a film about the unveiling of the Picasso in 1967. He made a speech in which he said, "What is strange to us today will be familiar tomorrow."
Which factors into Buñuel's work, of course.
Yeah, Well, and in a way, surrealism was strange. Now it's almost like normal.
Yeah,
Which is odd. That piece that you just saw was by Kevin Carney, who's a doctor and a kind of an outsider artist, and he made a head made out of baseballs.
It's amazing. I mean, he must be a really talented person to be a doctor.
He's a writer too, an investigator. We have some of his books down in the bookstore downstairs. He loves the origin of words, of language.
Gotcha.
So he's an investigator.
As I say, gotcha, which isn't even a word.
Surrealism and surgery is about the investigation of the body by cutting it open, and which connects up to the image of an eyeball being sliced with a razor in Buñuel's first film.
Andy, thank you so much for your time this morning. It was a real pleasure getting to explore this exhibit that you co-curated about Luis Buñuel, who again is the Spanish filmmaker. He was friends with Salvador Dali as well. So there's a lot of interesting pieces that you can explore on your own.